So I had an extra port for that. Hey everybody, thank you for joining us here on the Palpad. This is going to be a podcast brought to you by Heal TCG. So please check us out on our social medias that you can find in the description down below. So today, on our very first episode, we're going to talk about what decks we've been testing for the Sword and Shield format. There's a championship going on in Australia, and how this man broke a cactus deck. So let's go get into it with some intros. My name is Josh. This is Jack.
Hello.
And that is Andrew. And we're members of the Heal TCG, as he's the founder of the team. So I'm going to let him go ahead and take the mic for a little bit and just talk about the team, what our mission is with the group, and just go for it.
Thank you, Josh. So, Heal TCG, we're a group of friends local to the DFW Metroplex. Pretty much we just really liked playing together, testing off of each other. We have juniors, we have seniors, we have Master Division players. We do just really well, try to bounce ideas off of each other. And then we decided, let's get together and be a semi-competitive team. Thought, why not? As far as experience-wise, we've got people that have been playing for 10 years and people that have been playing for 1 year. So our experience is pretty well across the board. We all have different deck types that we like. Some of us really like stall decks. Some of us like aggressive decks. So we kind of we're a well-rounded group that just really love to play the game.
All right, cool. Thanks, Chad. Andrew, your turn.
My name's Drew. I've been playing for about a year now. I am our rogue person of the deck, of our team. I like to play all the rogue style decks. Don't really like to play the meta style. And that's really about all I got. Yeah, my cactus.
And I'm Josh. I've been playing off and on for like the last 10 years. I like to play more mid-range style games like stall, mill. Just take my time with the game plan, just let it develop. And that's pretty much all about me. So, with those out of the way, what decks have you been testing in this current format?
As far as two of the main ones that I've been testing so far, I really started with Lapras V, Lapras V Max, and Frostmoth. That has been one of my big favorites going into it. Just with the ability to bring back Blastoise's Deluge. That was phenomenal, except now you can still have the option and expanded to play Archies, I guess. But with Frostmoth being a stage 1 instead of a stage 2, it is a lot easier to set up. We also now have Evolution Incense that really helps getting the evolutions out, as well as Quick Ball making a comeback. Just discarding one card to search your deck for any basic that you want. So just being able to power up the Lapras with the Frostmoth was already pretty strong. One thing that I teched in early was the Quagsire with Washout from Dragon's Majesty. So that way you don't have to play as many switch cards in your deck, just because you have the power to push all the water energy from your bench to your active Lapras. Just makes it a lot easier to get it powered up really quickly.
Cool. Yeah, the only thing that I'm having an issue with that, unlike the Blastoise Deluge, is the fact that since we have to put them on the bench, if our Quagsires get knocked out, it's kind of an issue. But that being said, the damage that deck can exploit is insane. Like, we were seeing videos of people hitting 270 on their second turns, 300 plus. It's insane what that deck can do. I think it might have a chance if somebody can figure out a consistent list for it.
And it definitely really does have a chance to bring in some strong numbers. As far as getting the Quagsires get knocked out, you do still play cards like Switch Raft. You play Switch. You do play some Mallow and Lana. One of the big energy accelerators for it as well is, I believe, the supporter Lady. Mm-hmm. I forget what set she is from, but she just allows you to go grab 4 energy out of your deck at any one point in time. Then you also Sword and Shield reprinted energy retrieval. So if you do have any energies that are in the discard pile, you can go in and grab those. And then some people are teching in a 1 of, maybe a 2 of Ordinary Rod to shuffle in some Pokemon and some energy. And if you really want to, you could just put a Brock's Grid in there. That'll get you 6 cards instead of the 4, but it does eat your supporter for the turn. But there's definitely multiple ways to get that consistency out there.
All right, cool. Thanks. Andrew, what have you been testing?
I have been testing. What haven't I been testing, really?
What haven't you been testing?
true.
Let's be real. What deck have you stuck to that you feel that you might be playing forward?
I think Rillaboom is going to be S tier. Everyone's putting it down low, but Rillaboom is going to be a staple in this format, especially for all the grass decks.
Well, everybody's entitled to a wrong opinion.
I'm going to defend
Mewtwo
him.
player. We know exactly.
Yes.
I'm going to defend him a little bit. When testing with him, that deck got off and got insane power, a lot of good attackers, and it's just... That deck just loses so easily to interruption. Like, if I'm chasing down a Rillaboom with, like, a Ninetales, custom catchers, any form of gusting, your setup is just keeps getting destroyed. You cannot accelerate quickly.
Yeah, the only problem with it is you have to get that knockout quick, because I have that Rillaboom by the end of turn 1.
Yeah, but if I can knock out your Rillaboom before you have a chance to fully use the power of it, it slows you down. But when you get all your pieces going, it's insane. I've seen the numbers you put. It's like Shaman Prism Star was hitting for what that one game.
The max we got was 320.
Yeah, 320 against my Macargo, and I'm sitting there just, what do I do? So that deck, if people can figure out consistency levels of that deck, just like the Macargos, just like a lot of other decks that we could be testing right now that we're just doesn't hit that right spot because it's consistency level due to the not being able to play supporters first turn anymore. That deck can be insane and a really good stable going forward.
Yeah, and the Rillaboom is always going to be a deck where it's always going to go second because you want to use that ability on Rally to low end Executor to super growth that first turn, and you've already got one Rillaboom set up ready to go for another turn.
He's too strong. That's all I'm going to say about that.
Yeah, that definite grabbing 2 energy out of your deck and attaching them to any of your Pokemon on the board. That just allows you to power up so much on that first turn. Venusaur Snivy, Venusaur Celebi, Alolan Executor Rowlet, and even the Rogue player has some Maractus in there.
And not even that. It's just the ability, all the grass Pokemon that just because of lack of energy acceleration you had, like that Delmise from this newest set is good. Granted, you can't attack again, but that 200 is knocking out a bunch of things. It's knocking out other Vs. It's knocking out. It's doing massive damage against Mewtwo Mews. It's checking stuff that you normally grass would have a problem with. And not even that. It's just now you can play the new what's the energy called? The Azuro energy.
Aurora
Energy instead of
you
Rainbow.
can play Aurora energy in there. You can accelerate 2 grass energy to any attacker that's not in your type, and attach an Aurora energy to it. Now that attacker is going, and you had no you didn't have to do anything else to it, minus just ability grass energies. So, I think that deck has legs. It's just it needs something else to make that deck have legs. If that makes sense.
Absolutely, I definitely there is a future for Rillaboom out there. You just got to find the right pairs for him, and then I don't know if you touched on this earlier with Rillaboom though. Just being able to get so many of them set up consistently is definitely a big deal. So I'm sure there's going to be a list or something out there that someone's going to find multiple ways instead of just relying on super growth. Super growth is phenomenal. We've seen it in both the expanded format, seen it in standard format. Rowlet Executor kind of came out of nowhere. Nobody was really looking at it, and then when the Vileplumes popped up, that just excelled with it. But definitely with the energy acceleration of Rillaboom is going to be it's going to be a major factor in the new Sword and Shield.
Even more play and expanded as well.
Yeah, because
Absolutely.
now the Ribblebooms give Vileplumes a better chance to attack, so that deck can actually tech attackers along with its stall.
Yeah.
So I would say watch out for Collinsville, since that format is expanded, I believe. We might be seeing a lot more Vileplume, just because of the fact now they have an alternate attacker that they can send in now.
Absolutely.
Alright, so for the deck that I've been testing personally, I'm on 2. One is the one I've been playing the least, but I've been having a good time with it, is the Cinderace deck. I think that deck is really strong. It suffers the same problem, kind of like the Rillaboom, is it takes setup.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a stage 2, so you have to find candies, you have to find all your pieces. But through testing, because he's been testing the deck too, Andrew has, it's online, it's been doing really good. It's just when you don't see your pieces, it doesn't work.
Yep.
But the main deck I've been testing, and one that I believe people are slightly sleeping on a little bit, is the Macargo deck. We were testing it currently, me and Jack here, a couple times. Turn 2, I was producing 300 damage that one game.
You definitely, I think you did max out at 300 on that second turn.
On a second turn, 250 on a normal basis. Those numbers are nothing to sneeze at with the current format we're in. That's knocking out every V, pretty much.
Yeah. You're knocking out a lot of the Vs. Knocking out with the 250 and 300. You're knocking out tag teams because the highest tag team, 280 or 290 is the highest tag team.
I believe that's the Wailord, right?
300 is Wailord Magikarp,
Magikarp.
which Wailord Magikarp may see a little bit of play with some Frostmoth and whatnot. But I mean, yeah, you're knocking out your tag teams, and you're very close to knocking out VMAXs.
Yeah, but throughout the testing of the deck, at first I was finding issues finding pieces, but when I started switching up stuff here and there, the Macargo with Smooth Over is just fantastic.
Yes.
With Orangaru's new Primate Wisdom ability, I'm getting cards I need right away. I think the future of that deck may or may not be with a Torkoal V in it, but Ninetales was the way I put in there, and it's just going.
Yes, I mean absolutely. The Ninetales lineup in that, instead using that instead of Custom Catcher, not relying on having to get 2 cards, or in a Pokemon Catcher sense, not relying on having to flip heads.
Yeah, and the fact that instead of finding 2 Custom Catchers, I have 2 searchable ways to gust you with Giant Hearth, and I can incent to find Ninetales with Quick Balls, Pokécoms. I'm finding everything easier than it is to find catchers, and that allows me more room to play more like a 4 Fire Crystal, Tech Pokemon for answers. Just in general, it's more of a toolbox deck in my opinion, but it's so good.
Absolutely.
Not to mention that not very many decks are running Stealthy Hood anymore.
Yeah,
especially with the Sword and Shield set, there's not very many deck lists that are running Stealthy Hood, so you're automatically getting those gusts.
Especially with the fact that we're going to a really steel-heavy format because everybody and their mother is playing Zacian in their deck. I don't even have to devote that much energy to the Macargo to knock them out, and I can gust them up at whim. So Dolls is not a problem. Zacian's usually not a problem unless they get off really quick. But that's what I've been experimenting with, and I've been enjoying it a lot. I think that deck, like I said, is a lot better than people are giving it credit for.
I definitely think it is going to see some play, especially going into metal-heavy format, just for the sheer fact of it's weak. Metal is weak to the fire, so everybody's looking for that fire answer, and so you can't welder on you can't have turn 1 supporters anymore. So welder's going to die off a little bit, but being able to just smooth over and then use Macargo GX's ability to get some extra energy going, it's going to be a tough competitor to beat. I
will tell you this: if we didn't have the turn 1 rule now in effect, that deck would be so much better. That deck would be instant tier 1 just because of the fact of how fast we can accelerate energy onto a Macargo. But that being said, without it, I'm not noticing a big difference. It's just my turn 1 plays aren't as strong. I have to rely on my turn 2 plays to be just as strong as my old turn 1s, which with the deck the way it's set up could possibly do that. So that was what we've all been testing lately. Yep. So now we're getting into the topic of the video. The Australia International Championship is going to be this weekend. We have four members down there?
Right now we have two team members that are already down there. They've took a little extra time to decide to do some vacation down there, which Australia is beautiful. I don't blame them one bit for going down there for a few weeks. But we do have another one of our team members who's going to be leaving down there, I believe, in just a couple of days. They're going to head down that way to participate in Oceania.
So keep your eye out for them. We'll be posting on our social medias on their updates throughout the tournament, and good luck to them. But we wanted to go into kind of a forecast of what we believe is going to be the big decks of the tournament. Not just what we been testing, but what throughout conversations with other people in our area, Facebook groups, Discord chats, what we've been seeing online. Everybody's been testing. So if Jack, you want to go ahead and take the lead on this one, just go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, I'll go over a few things. Obviously, one of the big decks that's going to be out there is Zacian V with anything. Zacian ADP, Zacian Melmetal Lucario, even Zacian, I think it's Cinccino, doing Cinccino Mill with Zacian in it. Zacian is just going to be one of the biggest decks out there. Everybody's trying to get a hold of them to build it for Oceania at the moment, and I don't blame them one bit, because you know going turn 1 with Zacian does not hurt it one bit. You end your turn with
3 free cards.
Yeah, you get 3 free cards with its ability.
Yeah, if any of those are energies, that gets attached.
And that's
immediately.
That's another spot where the new Oranguru comes in with Primate Wisdom. Is you can put a metal energy right there on top of your deck, so you are guaranteeing yourself an extra attachment. And then with Metal Saucer as well coming out with Sword and Shield, it's Dark Patch and Aqua Patch. You just get extra energy from your discard pile.
We need that for Fire.
No, Fire doesn't need any more help.
You leave me alone.
Fire does not need any more.
We used to have Blacksmith. Even though Blacksmith, you can only attach it to Fire Pokemon. You attach it from the discard.
You got Fiery Flint. What else do you want?
I want the world. I want the world. But out of these Zacian variants that you've been seeing, which one do you think is going to be the most popular, though?
I mean, honestly, it's a tie between the Zacian ADP and Zacian Melmetal. Both of them have their advantages and their disadvantages. I mean, you're using it for the GX attack, Melmetal wise, which lowers the damage that you take. I think it gets rid of your weakness as well. I don't know. Most people are playing Metal Frying Pan for that one. Yep. But then you have then you're not really using it for anything else. So it's kind of, you can use it for an attack, but it's a 4 energy attack that doesn't hit for the numbers that are required these days. But then you have ADP, who you get an extra 30. Is it 30 or 50?
I think it's 30.
I think it's 30. I think you get an extra 30.
You're talking with Altered Creation?
Yes.
Yeah.
You get an extra 30 damage for it, and then you're taking extra prize cards. So you're turning your opponent's tag team, any tag teams that you knock out, into a 4 prize card.
Your single prize decks into
2 prizers.
GX decks, basically.
Yeah, and that really just allows you to swing, especially since we're expecting a Fire comeback. Somebody out there is going to be playing Blacephalon. So and skipping the Beast Ring turns going against Blacephalon is just huge. But so like I said, they both have their ups and their downs. I do expect to see a little bit more of the ADP, just because ADP you can still use the attack with the Aurora energies in the deck, so that way you can charge up multiple Pokemon while still doing damage to your opponent.
Alrighty. A deck that I want to bring up to conversate about is one that I think personally you just hit on it a little bit, and I had a flash in my head, is the Baby Blondes deck, the Lucky Blondes. That deck is what we talked about. It hits the steel decks for weakness. The only problem that I can see, the reason why I don't think there's going to be a lot of it, but it's a deck we need to be talking about for this tournament, is how many people are expecting that deck, to be honest. It's fast. It is fast. Mm-hmm. It has so many ways to find its energy, and it can keep consistently looping with Lucky Eggs now.
Well, so here's the big problem with Lucky Egg, and I ran into the problem in a pre-release. Is Lucky Egg is not an option card. It does not say on there, when this Pokemon is knocked out, you may draw until you have 7 cards in your hand. So if you get down to a low number of cards in your deck and you have 1 or 2 cards in hand, your opponent can essentially just knock out whatever has the Lucky Egg on it and deck you out. That was one problem that actually cost me a game in a pre-release, was I had Lucky Egg attached, and they sat there and waited, and then they attacked me when I had 3 cards left in deck and 2 cards in hand. So they decked me out on my last turn there.
It was, but the thing that I think we're overlooking though is the fact that a lot of these decks since they are weak to fire, they're not going to have to go that far in. You know,
Absolutely.
the the cards they're going to draw off of their first or second lucky egg is going to be more than enough to answer the meta. Because if we're thinking it's going to be a lot of ADP, a lot of Melmetal, they're not going to care because they're like, all right, we knock out one, we get 3 prizes or 2 prizes off of a Zacian, but in turn, when you knock us out, we're going to draw 7 fresh cards. Find a way to go for your ADPs or your Melmetals, knock them out, and then we only have to take 1 more prize card. Even if you make us draw another fresh 7. It's not going to matter. We only have to chase down a non-GX or a cheaper GX to knock out.
Absolutely.
So that's the thing I'm thinking we're all personally overlooking about the deck is they're not going to... If they have to use all 4 lucky eggs, they're already in a losing position.
That's a lot of what it's going to come down to is strategically playing the lucky eggs.
Yes.
You know, it's not going to be one of those that you just want to pile them on all on turn 1 or turn 2. You know, if you have to throw a couple away during the game, it shouldn't hurt you.
It's going to be a situation card.
Yeah, very situational.
Like, I know I'm going to lose this Pokemon and I need card draw now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would wait to save it until I see my opponent starting to make plays to get into a better position. Because then you know I have to make plays now or I'm gonna lose. But alright. Next one we have on the list is going to be Pikarom. Andrew, you played this deck in previous formats, so you also have it testing proxied out right now, testing the new way. So please tell us what you've figured so far.
So Pikarom's back. And
Thanks, Tom.
And we're no longer scared anymore. I know in the last meta set we were only running 2 Pikaroms, one Raichu, and then one's not even running Zeraora in it. So we were only running 3 tag teams in a Pikarom deck. But we're putting Dene's back in it again. We've got Zeraora back in it because we can search all these cards with. We got our Quick Balls back again. We've got, of course, we got our Electro Energies to hit those higher up cards. We've got pieces that have come back that are going to make this deck good again.
Yeah, the thing I like about the Pikarom deck though is it's the utility that it has. You have so many ways to search. You have so many ways to adapt to the attack power you need by having electro powers, electromagnetic radar to search multiple cards you need at one time, so you can search your Dedenne and your tag team of choice.
Quick Ball, Tag Call.
The new Tapu Koko makes that deck even better because now you have a
free retreat.
So you have a better pivot. Plus, it's 200 with no major downside.
Absolutely. I mean, that was one thing that Pikarom definitely suffered after rotation was the loss of Ultra Ball and Nest Ball and all that, which getting the Quick Ball back just allows you to go in and get that Tapu Koko Prism, and so you can get off the turn 1 full blitz again. It is just, just one card. And I've seen a few different lists, and realistically, the only thing new from Sword and Shield besides the Koko V, and even most decks I've seen are running that as a one of, just because it's a beautiful free retreater. But you have the Quick Balls, and then I've seen some people playing either Professor's Research or Marnie.
Definitely.
That is the only
one I've been testing with has been Marnie.
Yep.
Because we want to disrupt your hand as much as possible to let us keep building up our stuff.
Absolutely.
Where with Professor's Research, we're not wanting to discard as much of our deck as we once wanted to.
And that's the big thing is, Professor's Research isn't terrible, but there's just so many resources in that deck that you don't want to get rid of. Early game, you do want to be able to drop a couple of electric energies into your discard so that you can use Tapu Koko Prism.
Which Quick Ball works.
But that's where Quick Ball comes in on those. And then electromagnetic radar as well.
Alrighty. But like I said, to piggyback off what y'all said, that deck is back in full force. Now the ability to just discard your electric energies, because that was a major point of really why the deck started to falter, is the only discard outlet you had was electromagnetic.
Radar.
So now you have multiple, and you get basically a +1, because you can discard electric energy off a quick ball to find the Prism Star.
Yep.
So now, not only are you fueling the Prism Star, you're also adding more consistency, getting dead energies out of your hand for him even easier. And I think that's gonna be my deck at the tournament, to be honest with you.
I mean,
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, big
Hot take,
spoiler alert.
put it on the wall.
Big spoiler alerts there.
Put it on the wall.
It's definitely a strong deck. It's going to be a force to be reckoned with, just the same way that it was whenever it was first in format, just last year, whenever Team Up first came out. But I mean, just being able to go grab all your pieces again, just on turn one, is just ridiculous.
And we still have those worrisome decks like your deck, Mew Mew.
We'll go over Mew Mew in a minute.
So, no, we still have
Actually, this would be a good tangent into it because that was the next thing we're going to talk about.
Our troublesome. Pikachu still has their troublesome decks like Mew Mew, where we have the what's your bunny? Jigglypuff Low Bunny.
Oh yeah, the Mega Lopunny.
Yes.
Yep.
So that we still have that strugglesome card. So
yeah, but like I was saying, the reason I'm picking it as my deck of the tournament is it's proven to be consistent. Players know how to play it.
Mm-hmm.
ADP, we've had a few weeks to test with it, but under stressful situations, if you haven't put in the hours, it's going to be a very uphill battle. Unlike Pika Realm, where a lot of the players that are going to this tournament has put hours, days, months into this deck. So if there's a situation where I need to figure out how to get to this point, it's easier with that deck versus ADP, where now you're having to think about, because there's new Sword and Shield cards in there, and none of it's really the same core as it was before.
Absolutely.
But since he brought it up, we'll go to that deck next. We'll talk about Mew 3 variants.
I mean, the Mew 3 variant, the Welder variant has kind of died off with not being able to use a supporter on turn one. The Handlock variant has picked up. Mew 3 Malamar playing the Trevenant, Dust Noir, and Gengar Mimikyu tag teams has really picked up. I mean, just being able, even if you're going second, using Horror House GX stops your opponent from doing anything for a turn. If they're not perfectly set up on their first turn, they can't do anything. They draw, and 9 times out of 10 they will draw and pass. Or if you're going up against a Zacian deck, they'll draw and use Zacian's ability. But that's you're able to constantly charge up your Mewtwo's via Malamar. That allows you don't have to use Mewtwo by itself anymore, because you do have Gengar Mimikyu as a basic, Trevenant Dust Noir is a basic, and Trevenant Dust Noir is a card. Whenever it first came out, when I first saw the box for it and read the card, I looked at it and said, "That's not bad." I think the GX attack is definitely huge in a turn where if your opponent can't switch out, then it's definitely a great play. But then, especially with Marnie Marnie in the format now, in which earlier we had Reset Stamp, but Reset Stamp is really only good late game. Marnie is going to put your opponent down to 4, give you a fresh 5 cards, and then you use Night Watch from Trevenant Dust Noir, discarding or shuffling 2 of your opponent's cards back into their deck. So, I mean, you're essentially you're not really hand locking them per se, but if they get down to where they only have 2 cards in hand, then you have the ability to just stop them from being able to do anything unless it's an ability on their Pokemon, or they luck out and draw into a draw supporter. That's going to be definitely a big one. Is Mew 3 with Trevenant Dust Noir and Gengar Mimikyu. I don't really think the Welder engine is firing as much as it was.
But I would still expect that some people may still attempt to take it, just because as much as it is hindered by the turn 1 new supporter rule,
Mm-hmm.
the attackers that it gets access to are a little bit better, in my opinion.
So it's not so much because you still have a lot of access to those attackers, because the Welder build, the only thing that really changes on that is the Hidden Fates Charizard GX. You don't really have access to that one anymore because you're not playing Fire Energy. So you can't get the energy requirements for that. But you still have Malamar to power everything up that you need. Some of the builds are playing Aurora energy. Most of the attackers were playing, we had Solgaleo GX, which was just 2 colorless energy. You had Naganadel GX, which was a psychic and 3 colorless energy. So, and then even Greninja GX started to see a little bit of uptick, and even that, it's 1 water, 1 colorless energy. So you play the Aurora energy with it, which is so much, in my opinion, is so much better than Rainbow energy, because now you're preventing the Cosmic Eclipse Mimikyu. You're preventing shutting yourself off.
Yeah.
And it gives you another discard route to put another evolution into the discard that you can use.
Alrighty.
Speaking with the welder variant going out the door, have we seen the end of Greens and Ability Zard?
I don't think so.
Because I don't know about y'all, I have not heard anything on that deck since Sword and Shield has come out.
I've seen it very little online, but when I've seen it, it was always in a losing predicament. Videos that I've watched of people playing against them, they always seem to struggle against these new, faster decks that don't require to have the first turn supporter anymore. And if they're going second, most of those decks, most of the Charizard decks, are still not getting their full setups.
Yep.
So that's what's been hurting them a lot, is the fact that they can't go turn 1, set up everything, then turn 2, hit massive numbers. So that, I expect people to still try and figure it out, but I don't see it being the big boogeyman that it once was.
So I definitely, maybe as far as Green Zard, the Green Zard deck, I think that one may almost be gone. There's probably still going to be a few people trying to make it work, but I definitely think the Ability Zard, playing Charizard Braxian, playing Reshazard, playing Ninetales for the Gust, and playing Jirachis and everything, that's still a very strong deck, especially going into, once again, a metal-heavy meta. That doesn't, your Zacian's going to be your main attacker in the metal-heavy meta. It's weak to fire, and it has 220 HP, I believe. So, yeah. I mean, it's just, there's still so many options for Ability Zard with Welder and whatnot.
Alrighty. It's still a deck to keep your eyes on, but it's not going to be, like we said, the big boogeyman.
It's not going to be 40% of the field is going to be playing Charizard anymore.
That hurts my feelings, by the way.
And I think we can all be happy about that.
I'm mourning on the inside.
Well, 40% of the field just plays Mewtwo. I'm happy.
Yeah. Now it's going to be 40% of the field's playing ADP.
Yeah.
Woo! Alright, the next deck we had on our list was Lapras. I think, personally, this deck has a lot of legs with the recent builds that we've been seeing. But you've been testing this deck more than any of us. So,
I'm not going to spend too long on it because we did touch base on it pretty heavily earlier in the podcast. The Lapras V Max, I started working it with Frostmoth and Quagsire. Just really helps accelerate the energy, move the energy around. I also had a Magikarp Wailord teched in there and a Blastoise Piplup. Gives me another healing option.
The boy.
The boy.
The child.
But one of the builds that we've been seeing it with a lot more is Electrode GX, because I know you knock it out, and how many it allows you to attach how many energy? I want to say it's like it allows you to attach 4 or 5 energy.
I believe it is. I'm double checking right now, so keep going.
So that
is where we vamp.
Yeah, that has definitely been one of the new builds that's been coming out that people are starting to really hype up a little bit, is with the Electrode GX, just for the sheer fact of, yes, you are giving up 2 prizes when you do it, but hopefully your opponent hasn't used their ADP.
It's 5.
5? Okay,
Yeah,
so 5 energy attached to your Pokemon, instantly setting up the 3 energy required for Lapras VMAX to use its big attack. But even Lapras V by itself does not have a bad attack. It's 210 for 4 energy, and you put 2 water energy back into your hand. So you're recycling your energy And then again with the Frostmoth and the Quagsire lineup, you can just attach them straight back up there. So it's both builds of the deck have their ups and their downs, but it's it's definitely it's going to be there. I don't think it's going to be one of the main builds like it was earlier in the talks of the meta. Lapras and Zacian were kind of the big hitters. Lapras is kind of taking a little fall back. But I still think you're definitely going to see a lot of people there playing it.
Alrighty. I honestly think that was one of the decks I was talking about where if we can fix some of the consistency issues, I think that deck had a lot stronger showing. And with this Electro build, it fixes a lot of the issues that I was originally talking to you about when we were first building our list. So I think with that list, we will see a lot of answers because it will check the metal checks. So the people that are bringing Macargos, Charizards, Blacephalons to answer the metal, they're going to come in and they can check the fire decks and also put up the damage to knock out ADPs, Melmetals, stuff like that still. So it's good. I love this meta that we're in, by the way, guys. I love it.
So with Sword and Shield coming in, it almost resets the meta because, going into just the last of Cosmic Eclipse and that setup, Guardian, Fairy was very, very strong because there was no good metal decks. But now with Sword and Shield coming out, bringing good metal decks, Guardian's gonna die off, and sadly, they did announce no more Fairy, and we are slowly expecting that there's gonna be an announcement of no more dragons for a little bit.
That's gonna hurt.
Spoiler, by the way, if y'all didn't see that coming yet.
That's a hot take. Give me a sticky note and put that on the wall.
This set.
Yeah. But I mean, just the meta itself really did almost it's almost kind of in a neutral area right now because everything has a good variant against it.
Yeah. Even by looking at some of the Japanese results that we can see, there is a lot of ADP, there's a lot of Pikarom, there's a lot of, the top tier decks. But there are so many mid-range decks that are showing up and winning these tournaments. Like the deck that I've been testing, the Macargo deck. Mm-hmm. I believe it got 7th or 8th place, I want to say. And there's multiple ones at that tournament that got places that they didn't list. Like, I think the other list got 16th and another one got 30-something. And that's a deck that nobody thought was originally going to be good. So the meta that we're currently in, it's just insane. It's basically going to come down to who can set up quicker in this format. Unlike in previous formats where you flip your starter and you're like, I lose.
Yep.
So I expect a lot of different decks at this tournament outside of the ones we listed. There is one more deck we want to talk about. It's doll variants, and the big doll deck that we think is going to do really good is what he has deemed Mighty Mouse.
Oh, more Peko V and even V Max if you really want to evolve just to kind of get away from those big numbers. But yes, I've been calling it Mighty Mouse because it's just
that good.
It is good. It's such a great card. Being able, the more Peko V with Recycle Energy and Clefairy Dolls is just phenomenal. Being able to switch around and out
150 and run away.
Yeah, you're hitting for 150. You're running away. Recycle Energy's coming right back to your hand. You're not really too worried about losing it because they may Marnie you. You have others in deck. You're playing Guzmahala to just go right back in and get it. You're also getting assistance from Thunder Mountain, just like Pikarom, Tapu Koko, Prism. I mean, the deck itself varies. It doesn't hit the heavy numbers like Pikarom does, but it does have the same speed and the ability to hit the big numbers with using the Electro Powers and everything.
And what I want to say about that little mouse is the fact that you can still play the same tech attackers that Pikarom is, like Coco V. I saw one list even playing Rai. And I was wondering how that works, and then when I saw it work, I was like, oh, it makes sense. Mm-hmm. Once the Mopekos have done their job and weakened everything or took enough knockouts, it just comes in and just wins the game.
Yep.
So the fact that this deck is just as utilitied as Pikarom, but the strategy of hit and run with the lack of gust in this current shield and sword and shield format is amazing. Put the mouse away.
Well, I pulled a little more Peko out right quick just because I wanted to check something on it. Like I said, you really don't even have to evolve into Morpeko VMAX. I mean, if you evolve into the Morpeko VMAX, you're only doing 30 more damage to your opponent's active, and you're spreading, I believe it's 20 or 30 across their bench. Morpeko itself has, for one colorless energy, Spark, with being able to do 20 to your opponent's active, and then do 20 to one of their bench Pokemon. A lot of that, you're going to see a lot more of these spread decks, I feel, especially knowing that there's going to be a lot of Mewtwo out there, and you're going to see a good play of the Mimikyu from Cosmic Eclipse, being able to shut off those Mewtwo decks. It's just right now there's nothing to stop the V's and the VMAXs. How we have Mimikyu, Power Plant, everything else that we can work against the GXs and the tag teams. There's nothing to stop the V's. So I do think we're going to see a lot of Mewtwo, but we are also going to see a lot of spread played with Power Plant and Mimikyu.
All right. With that being said, that was all the decks that we believed were going to be the top tables, the most represented, what everybody just thought we were going to bring. What I wanted to ask, because I've already said mine, I'm going to go around and ask, what do you think will win this tournament?
I mean, really, it's a coin toss, and I got to be honest. There's probably a deck that we haven't talked about. There's probably a deck that nobody's thought of that's going to come out of nowhere. We're going to see it on stream and go, who thought of this mess? And wow, that's amazing that it's working. Because I got to be honest with you, for Dallas, which we all played at Dallas. It was Roxy Tina Chomp?
Yeah.
Roxy Tina Chomp that won that. And, we were expecting a lot of people, to see a lot of Mewtwo, Mew3, with some Tina Chomp in there. And the Mega Gardevoir from Expanded. But, honestly, before Dallas, I don't know. Roxy Tina Chomp, it's a great deck. It kind of, I know there was probably a lot of talk in it with the professional players, but as far as like us, I saw it on stream and went, I don't know who thought of that, but kudos, way to go.
If I wouldn't have ran into Guardian, I probably would have beat that deck.
It's okay, Honchkrow. It's okay.
Leave me alone.
I built that deck for you. I was proud of how you performed with it.
Thank you.
2 weeks before Dallas, this man comes up to me and says, Jack, I want to play in Dallas, and I want to play Honchkrow. I handed him the Honchkrow deck, said, here you go. But we made some adjustments. Day
one was the regional.
Yeah, he tested it once or twice, but then the first real playing with it, he tested it, and you did a lot better than me, who'd spent months trying to perfect my Mew 3 list.
I think I went 3-0 before I went on a losing streak.
I started on a losing streak, so it just wasn't. Dallas was not good for me.
I was leading on a losing streak.
All I'm going to say is that guy that I played at the regional, if you're watching this and you played that Mewtwo deck, I'm sorry you spiked it.
Oh, people are still talking about that dude putting the deck in his deck box and then just slamming it onto the floor. People are still talking about that.
What?
All
right, hold on. We're going to do podcast story time.
Story time.
All right, where is my deck box? I need it right here.
Which one?
Right here. Is that my teal one? Anyway, it's over there. Anyway, so as Jack said, I decided I wanted to play at the Dallas Regional. So I was like, cool, I'm going to play it. I show up, he gives me the deck, I get 3 or 4 games with it, it's performing well. So we make some tweaks, and I'm like, alright, this is the list, we're going to go. I run against a Mew 3 player. I played, 2 of them that day before, I played one of them before him.
I mean, the Mew 3 list that day, I felt for this guy because he was playing one of the decks that just played special energy only.
Yeah. I beat a Mew 3 deck before him, and he was kind of upset, but, that's what happens when you play against Honchkrow. You can't play your deck. This guy, by turn 2, he was frustrated that he goes, oh, draw, I can't play it. Draw, I can't play it. I'm like, I'm sorry, bro. 90. And then I beat him. We shake hands. You know, nothing words were said. I just see him close his deck box and go, bah, on the floor. And that was story time with Josh.
And everybody that was in the vendor hallway, because I'd already lost. Hi. I had a bad run at Dallas. The prizes were not in my favor, but everybody that was in the vendor room heard the slam.
Still, great event. Recommend that if you ever get a chance to go.
Oh, absolutely. It is a Dallas has always been a well-run event. And just the few years that I've gone and attended there, it's been just a phenomenal event.
Yeah.
As far as I know, there haven't been any major issues at Dallas. But again, that's as far as I know. I'm sure somebody out there has a gripe about it. Can't please everybody.
The only thing I heard was there was deck list inconsistencies with the online submissions.
Yeah, but like I said, so
for that being the only thing, that's not.
Yeah. At least they were able to submit their deck list,
And
unlike
also-
other regionals last year.
And also them
episode
streaming
1 problems, tangents.
And then also them streaming the VCG instead of the TCG, but that's another story.
Yep.
See, thank you here for joining us. That was a tangent, guys. All right, but for real. That being said, you said it might be a deck that we don't even know about that might win it. But of the decks that we talked about, what do you think will win it?
I mean, I don't know for certain what's going to win it because it's going to come down to the setup. But I do think your finals match is going to be either a Zacian versus a Mew 3 or a Zacian Mirror.
The people out there need to know, Jack.
You're going to see Zacian in the finals, but I'm the king of dead drawing, so I hope they have better luck than I do.
The Pidgeotto control it is. All right.
Probably.
All
There's
right.
probably some new Pidgeotto control out there.
I hate to admit it because I hate the deck, but I think ADP is going to be. You're going to see ADP taking the top.
Do you feel that because of the way the deck is set up, or the way that there's going to be so many people playing it that is naturally just going to make its way up?
I think there's so many people that are going to be playing it that one of them is going to get through. That's just far better than the rest of the deck lists,
Man.
and it's going to take
The luckiest drawer in the building.
All right. And I want to do something here that I don't see a lot of people do. I want to ask, what's your rogue deck of the day?
Oh, it's my Macarcus. my
At
cactus.
the tournament.
My cactus.
You're gonna see that.
Cinnamon is gonna be your rogue deck.
I don't think that deck's seeing a lot of tournament success here in America already.
It's gonna see tournament success, but it's not going to be as heavily played as your ADPs, your Pika.
Kind of like how Pidgeotto Control originally was.
Yes.
Like we saw Isaiah and all them playing at Worlds. It started to slowly take off, but it was still considered rogue.
Yeah.
And then after it won, 2 regionals in a row? I think it won a regional, and then everybody...
Let's say it won a regional, but then people were teching against it.
Yeah. But it was one of those, like, it did really well, died off a little bit, came back in a force, and then now it's.
I think another one you're going to see come out of left field possibly could be Rillaray. Rillaboom with Rayquaza.
Absolutely.
I can see that, yes.
Coming from somebody that used to play Vicaray with Vicavolt and Rayquaza.
I miss that deck.
And even Naganadel Rayquaza GX. I played both of those, did really well with both of those, so you will definitely see some Rillaboom Rayquaza come out there.
All right, Jack, your rogue deck of the day, or the tournament.
I mean, honestly, I'm probably gonna go. You're probably gonna agree with me here. Road deck wise, I'm gonna say Macargo.
That was mine.
That deck is it's super fast, super fun to play, and
it is.
I mean, everything just falls into place 9 times out of 10. So
yeah. To piggyback, since that was also my road deck of the tournament, and it's been the one I tested the most, I can speak on it. That if that deck does get set up properly, it's faster than anything out there. It consistently loops 250 to 300 damage a turn. It's insane what it can do. It's going to one-shot stuff no matter what. But that one game difference of it bricks, it doesn't see quick balls, it doesn't see its evolution line.
Mm-hmm. And that's what we saw that in our testing.
Yeah, I'm still mad about that. The one game he wins. But all right, thank you guys for your feedback on the tournament. That's going to bring it into our show. Thank you so much, everybody, for giving us a view.
Thank you.
Please follow us at our social medias. I'll have them linked in the description down below. We run, monthly contests? Giveaways?
Right now, we have a giveaway that is on our Facebook page. As of the filming of this video, we are at, I believe, 96 likes at the filming of this video. Whenever we get to 100, we're going to be giving away a Sword and Shield pre-release kit. And honestly, it's only going to go from there. Whenever we start getting some more subscribers on YouTube, we're going to open up some giveaways there. We're getting a Twitch stream fired up where we're going to be streaming some local tournaments as well as some PTCGO. We're always up for giving stuff away on PTCGO and whatnot. So kind of keep an eye out for us. Like he said, go give us a like and a follow on Facebook. That's where we'll have most of all of our events posted. Working on getting the Twitter set up so we can post everything there. Give us a sub on YouTube to follow along with these videos. And
we'll have multiple videos. We'll have podcast videos, gameplay videos, not like a podcast kind of way, but more just like quick discussions, like quick 5-10 minute videos on how we feel about a certain thing, reaction videos to news, just anything you can think of, we're going to try to do. It's going to be fun. We're all going to have a good time. There's a lot more of us than us three. This is just all of us that were here.
I promise. I know this is the second video you see me in. There's more. I promise.
There is more. One works. Two of them work nights, but I live with one of them. So.
No, you should be telling me. You should be telling me. Sorry.
We'll get to that later.
But then again, thank you so much, everybody. And this was Palpad, a podcast brought to you by Heal TCG. And again, please check out all of our links down below. Any member that has a Twitter, I'll link it down there as well. So please just go give us a follow, support, and thank you so much.
Thanks, guys.